Hi and welcome to At the Studio with Jay. I'm your host, Swizzy Slum Jay. Today my guest is Kat Vecchione. She's a lifetime in music. She started from the age of 2. She's from K94 Rocks. She's on all major podcast forums. She started Blog Talk Radio. She's a musician, a gambler, cancer and stroke survivor. Hello, Kat. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm just doing great, Jay. Thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you for your patience. It's been a journey to get here,
Well, just
but we're here.
yeah, just a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but it's been fun. The journey's been fun getting here. It's been a blast. You're a lot of fun, Jay.
Oh, well, thanks. Um, you're a lot of fun as well. Um, so um, so you started music at the age of 2. You were telling me
That is correct.
about so well, as you can see in the picture, you got a guitar looking like Ford. Um, you you better than her? Can you outshred her? You ever meet her?
I met her, and I also jammed with her backstage. She let me play one of her BC Rich um guitars. She has one in like a BC Rich bitch in like every color. Um, 'Cause she's one of her BC Rich sponsors her. I'm assuming. I didn't get to talk to her very long, but um unfortunately, this, I met her a couple of times, and the time that I was jamming with her backstage at her back at her hotel room, um, I was a little bit intoxicated, unfortunately, and her advice to me was quit your drinking and play your guitar. So I took her advice very heavily, and
About what age were you?
when I met her,
Yeah.
I was 19.
Oh. So that's solid advice to a 19-year-old for sure.
Yeah,
Don't let the booze get in the way of your talent at that age, at least.
yeah, definitely. Don't let any alcohol or well, I don't do drugs, but um, my culture, the culture I was brought up in, being part Italian, um, we drink wine with our dinner, like at a young age, and really alcoholism isn't prominent in our family. So it's more of the people you hang around with. So I had to like get rid of those people in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I had
Um,
to like cut off a finger to save a hand, so to speak.
yeah, I was gonna say, if you don't want fleas, don't lay down with dogs, sort of thing.
Yeah,
That the energy of the people around you can become your energy, and so you need to be around like-minded individuals with the same sort of energy and direction and focus. And I mean, that's just solid advice all around. So when when did you start, like, you know, playing in clubs and stuff like that? How early of an age were you in a band and, like, seriously?
I would say I was 15. My brother was 13. Um, my boyfriend at the time, he was same age as me. Um, and we had um oh my gosh, I don't know how many singers we went through.
What what um what kind of music?
It was cover tunes and originals of anything from hard rock to heavy metal at that time. And I would write my own songs for the band too. So, um, I'm trying to make. You gotta forgive me. For those,
Oh no,
uh,
you're fine.
uh, for those people out there that don't know me, uh,
Why don't why don't you go ahead and explain real quick?
yeah,
So,
I had, I'm 56 now, and I had a serious stroke when I was 50, and then I had two mini strokes after that. And my memory is it affected my memory um and my language skills. So I don't articulate my words very well, and my speech is not as good as what it used to be. So
well, you were telling me off camera that you used to know 6 languages and now you only can remember 3 of them,
y-
which is still, like, far beyond any average American. But
well, you know what the joke is about that is if you
what's the joke?
it's if you can speak three languages, you're trilingual. If you speak two languages, you're bilingual. If you speak one, you're an American.
I, that's that's the truth. That's not a joke.
And when I was living in Europe, um, you don't realize that they call you an American. You don't realize that, like when you're living in America, um, you don't say what your nationality is, where you come from, or whatever, until you live outside of the country and you go to another country and they label you as an American, and it's kind of, you know, it's kind of weird. But this was before I
It
became sick with cancer, because I also had 4 bouts with cancer, and that was when I in my late 30s. That's when I came back from Italy.
I've only been out of the country, but I was 2 years old to 4 years old, so I don't remember anything. We lived in Spain and went to Italy, went to London, went to Switzerland. I remember some of it, but and I don't even know how they treated Americans back then. I'd have to ask my parents. But what's the casino side of your life? Like, because you mentioned you've been in the casino business as long as
Almost over
the
three
music.
decades.
Yeah. So,
Well, I kind of I was touring. I was touring with a band called Wig Party um for about a year and a half uh before Marilyn and Manson and the Spooky Kids got signed, and we were out of Miami. I had left my life behind. I had moved. I'm originally from New York, if you couldn't tell, and my family moved from New York to Tampa, Florida, and my parents got divorced, and we moved to Texas, moved back to Florida, moved to Tampa, and I was living with my mother at the time. My brother moved to Tennessee, so that band broke up, and then I got uh, an offer to come down to Miami because uh, Wig Party needed a lead guitar player. So it wasn't a singing gig, it was a lead guitar gig. And sight unseen, I got hired because they had, I guess my reputation preceded me as a lead guitarist. So I just packed up everything and I told my mother, I said, Mom, I'm going to go.
be a rock star.
Exactly. Yeah. And I toured with them for a year and a half until an unfortunate incident happened where um, my best friend of many years, um, she was involved in a fatal car accident, but she didn't. She was in ICU, but I had to leave for the weekend, and when I came back, our drummer was replaced, and it was 3 weeks before the Southeast Music um, conference, and the drummer that they replaced was, well, let's just say she sucked. And I was like,
No.
guys, you had the phone number where I was staying. This was before cell phones were invented, or not invented, but prominent. Where everybody just carries a cell phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gave you the phone number where we are gonna be, where I was gonna be, and you just replace Jamie with this Barbie doll, and she sucks on the drums, and she's telling me how to play my own songs. And
Oh no.
I'm a very very patient person, very calm, very, you know, but
Oh, I know with your patience with me, so. Patience of a saint you got. That's for sure.
but this woman had me off the charts. Can I say pissed off?
You can say whatever you want. It's
Well, she had me pissed off beyond recognition. And when you telling me that I'm playing my own songs that I wrote wrong, and you walk into a gold mine of a band. um I told her I was going to take her drumsticks and shove them so far up her butt that they would come out to toothpicks out of her nose.
God. It's
And then we were like, okay, rehearsal's over. Because I had to drive from Miami back up to Tampa to see my best friend in the ICU. Because we didn't
Mhm.
have any rehearsal for 3 days. And I gave him the phone number, because every decision that the band would make was supposed to be unanimous, not um you know not somebody telling, you know don't flip me out. And it was we played a Southeast Music Conference 3 weeks later, and even with the sucky ass drummer, um labels wanted to sign us. And I was like, well, that's
Wow.
one. They wanted to sign us, Saigon Kick, and Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids. Well, people have heard of Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids, which is now Marilyn
Mhm.
Manson. People have heard of Saigon Kick, but have they heard of Wig
Yeah.
Party? I don't
It's a
think so.
new to me, I'll be honest.
And you know why? Because the drummer, she goes, I want to stay in Miami and do nails. I don't want to leave Miami. And I was like, I go, I leave my whole life back in Tampa,
To come out there to be a rock star.
and
And
you just joined this band 3 weeks ago, and you want to do nails. Okay, I was like, I'm out of here. You know, you don't want to take this seriously. And at that time, I had, part time um, experience in the casino business, working for it's Hard Rock Casino now, but it was Seminole Bingo then. And I eventually worked my way up into management and plus, and then started my own partnerships with um, poker concessions and sportsbook on day cruises and vacations.
so what would you do for them? Are you providing what are you providing?
Um, we would like rent space on vacation ships and we were
So you
we weren't actually part of the casino. We would rent space, the poker tables, and the sports book. And I started as a poker dealer and eventually worked my way up to being management and card owner. Me and my now ex-husband and got to travel and go to different countries and stuff like that. Which is where I picked up different languages and stuff like that. I learned the languages at that time, really easily.
so you were going overseas to casinos and uh, doing events for them?
And doing what? Sorry.
Doing events for them?
Um, it was more or less doing the poker and the sports book,
Okay.
not necessarily the whole casino. Although I was one of the teachers in the a poker school in downtown Tampa before I got sick. And once that happened, then my and separated from my husband. That's when my life just totally changed. And when I went to Italy, I was supposed to marry a blue-blooded Italian man because I have cousins over there. And unfortunately, we had an argument on my birthday, and he got a girl pregnant on my birthday, but we didn't know that. We didn't know until I was supposed to permanently move over there.
How
So,
old were you when this happened?
uh, 39. But I don't think he had any intention of wanting to marry me, though. And then that's when I found out that I had breast cancer. And I had to come back to America anyway.
So at the poker school, what did you teach?
Mostly,
I'm always
mostly poker, but I taught all the casino games because I had, as a casino, one of the casino partners, I had to learn all the casino games, dice, roulette, being a croupier and um, uh, forgive my articulation here. Um, uh, blackjack and just
all the standard card games,
yeah,
dice games.
exactly. Pai Gow and um, just all the casino games because I had to teach them and I had taught them and try to recruit students to the school, which is now run by I don't know who, but it was I had a good run. Yeah, um I'm homebound now because I'm physically and mentally disabled now, but um if if I were not to wake up tomorrow, I could honestly say that I've had a good life. I got to see and do a lot of things in my 56 and a half years on this earth that a lot of people would only dream of on their bucket list, if you know what I mean. I mean, I got to like go to countries that were like just exotic places, tropical places, and then I got to go to like third world countries that would make you cry because you get to see how real poverty was, you know. And because I could speak the languages, um, and because of the um, I guess because of how far I went in college, I had um, when I left. Let me rewind here a little bit. When I
Okay.
when I when I left Wig Party, I worked at a music store for a little while, and I when I left the music store, I uh, wanted to continue my education, so I majored in. Well, I feel like it was registration because I had so many different majors I wanted to do. I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer, an IT tech, um,
I
uh,
had the same problem. I had
physics.
3 degrees. So,
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I had more degrees than a thermometer. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I was like a human thermometer, you know? But I was 14 hours away, 14 credit hours away from going to going to um law school, which is really what my passion was at that time because I felt that there's so much injustice in this world, and anytime that I, like I would get a traffic ticket, I would represent myself in court. I fought every single ticket, and with the exception of one ticket, because I had a sports car, with the exception of one, I beat them in court. And I was like, I'm good at this. Why not get paid to do it? So I
Mine as
passed
well.
my paralegal courses, and I said, well, I had 3 firms that wanted me as a paralegal, but at that time I was working in the casino business. But a paralegal or a lawyer, you know, does a lot better than a paralegal, and paralegal basically can do everything a lawyer can do except fill in the blanks, and just doesn't make the same amount of money as a lawyer. It
Yeah,
just has to go to more schooling.
that was one of the avenues I had thought about. And then I talked to one, and she told me, she was like, I do everything the lawyers do, I just don't get paid. And I was like, well, crap. Okay. Thanks. But,
And they can't represent another person in, in
yeah.
a court of law.
Yeah.
I know I jump around a lot, and I apologize for that, Jay.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's totally fine. My listeners they'll follow the journey.
Oh, it's a journey. My life is, or was. Welcome to my world. In fact, the the show that I my baby is World Talk Rock Report and WTRR live stream on YouTube. YouTube is WTRR live stream, and on Mixler, iHeartRadio, and Blog Talk Radio, it's World Talk Rock Report. And if you Google it, um, you'll come up with a bunch of different things, and my name and Chuck Skull's name. You come up with Kat Vecchione um, and Chuck Skull.
I'll put the links in the description of the video, but I did that. I googled like you said, and I listened to some of them, and I was kind of blown away by some of the people you managed, to get interviews with. Um, One that struck me was you had talked to this music producer that had done Rush's album. He did some Disney
Oh
work.
yeah, yeah.
He
And
did.
for the life of me, I can't remember his name.
Well, that's the life of a music producer. All my music producer friends, they nobody
I
remembers
had a
their names.
feeling
It's
that
fine.
that was the person you were gonna bring up too, because at that time I had management, um, and Willie Forrest was my agent then, and that's when MySpace was the big thing before Facebook,
Okay.
and I put 2 of my original songs on the MySpace page. Well, somehow some clown over in, I think it was in Czechoslovakia, downloaded not only the 2 songs, but one of my complete CDs that I recorded, and was bootlegging them out of his van. And he tried to sell me my own CD. He got caught doing it because he didn't realize that he sent me, MySpace had an email thing, kind of like you can send them uh, send emails that not in just instant message, but you can send emails to the person
Yeah.
at like mass emails, and I reported them to the MySpace people. First, I went through my agent, and I had to prove who I was. And I said, "Look," I said, "this is one of my albums or CDs, and this guy is selling them, making money off of it, and he's trying to sell me my own album." And I had to like hold up a picture of me, hold up my ID, show him who I was, and this and that and the other, and
Blink twice.
yeah,
Yeah.
give him my firstborn male child, and you know, and my agent said you shouldn't have had to do all of that. He said, but I told you not to put your music, the whole song on the MySpace. Just what they call it, like a
Snippet.
sampler or teaser or
Yeah.
something like that. I don't know what they call it nowadays, but just
Demo.
yeah. And I don't know how he got the whole album on there unless he got it off iHeart or or um who else was handling it? Oh my gosh, forgive me because I'm like I said, my memory is like not of like an elephant's memory. It's more like a hamster.
No, you're
Not
fine. I
that I'm
mean,
insulting hamsters, folks. I'm an animal lover. Believe me. I have a service animal. I should ask my cat. I have a service cat. So I should ask my cat. What was the name of that station that plays our music over in Europe? Uh,
well, yeah, I would have no guess for sure. So you're you're saying that you basically had a David Hasselhoff moment in Czechoslovakia that some guy was trying to make you huge. Like how far did he get selling them out of his van?
that I don't know. I have no idea. I just know that what are the odds of somebody um
Well, it must have been pretty, pretty hardcore and pretty good to cuz the Czechoslovakians, they go hard with their music. So, I would take it as an honor personally. I mean, I know financially it probably you're like what the fuck, but
yeah,
uh,
I was
did did you think at all that this is kind of an homage or like I can't believe someone in Czechoslovakia is doing this?
well, I had well, okay, here's the deal. Before I got Willie to be my agent, I had gotten hosed over by another management company, which I'm not going to mention, um, because I was just turning 19 at the time. And I still to this day have not made one penny from any of my recordings. The very first album that I ever did was um, a was actually on a cassette, and it was all the proceeds went to a shelter for abused men and women and children called the Spring in Tampa, Florida. And it was called The Women of Tampa Sampler 1988. And that was right before I joined Whig Party. So all those proceeds went to that shelter. So basically, if you want to do this business for making money, you're in the wrong business.
Oh, no doubt. I have no delusions whatsoever. And the few people I'm working with, we're doing it for the sake of art. That's
Exactly.
that's where it's at. And if it goes somewhere, then it goes somewhere.
I had very few sponsors that came through and paid me. And in fact, um, there's a 45 out there called Black Widow by Whig Party. And I found it in a bar that I played after I left Whig Party. And I asked the bar owner if I could have the 45 because I was like, how he says no, he goes, it's not for sale. And he said I'd have to do some sexual favors to get it. And I said, I don't want it that bad. I don't degrade myself like that.
Yeah, that's awful.
It's like this. It's like men in the business of music get all these like hot looking women backstage. Women in in the music business get guys that are there was not going to mention his name, but let's just call him Bubba. And and it was the first week I had joined Whig Party, and I'm like a buck 35, 5'7", and he was like pulling my leg off the stage. He grabbed my leg and he's pulling me off the stage literally while I'm trying to play. And he's about 400 pounds, and I can't get security or anything to like help me. And then he's waiting for me backstage. I don't know how he got backstage. Um, it's like, you know, those are the groupies we get. You know what I'm saying? It's not fair.
No, I was gonna say it's definitely an unfair world as far as that goes. I mean, that's all That's all live events. I'm sure the women are disappointed at every live event they go to. Honestly.
It's not fair, Jay.
It's-
But now I sing in church and I just write music for other people.
how does that work?
Um
And what do they call it? Because in the hip hop world, it's called ghostwriting. So, but yeah. Can you walk through the process
well,
of
I just
writing
call it
us?
I author I or well, you can call it whatever you want, really. I just call it what how I see it. I just write songs for other people. And since I became a, a born again Christian and changed religion, I wouldn't say change religions. I would say I converted from Roman Catholic to Nazarene. Um, I sing for I sing for the church and the Lord now, and I wrote
Is
2 songs in less than 5 minutes because ever since I got cancer and I figured God put me here for a reason and lived through 3 strokes and four
mm,
bouts of cancer. Whereas I've had recently had 2 relatives that had 1 stroke and didn't make it. So,
I mean, it comes down to we gotta use the time we have the best we can. So you're writing gospel music or hymns or what type of music are you writing these days?
spiritual, I say it's spiritual, um, contemporary Christian music. But I listen to everything. I'm inspired by everything.
Oh yeah, who are you listening to these days? Do you still
Lauren Daigle.
listen Lauren Nagel? I'll have to look that one up. It,
She's a contemporary Christian artist.
okay. Do you still listen to um stuff that you did and were around when you started in the music business?
Oh yeah, I still listen to everything. In fact, I have Zoso tattooed where the tramp stamp is. Jimmy
uh
Page, you know.
yeah. For those who don't understand, why don't you explain what that is? I happen to know what it is.
Well, Jimmy Page was a great influence on me, and that's why I have a 1983 Black Beauty Les Paul, one of a kind guitar. Unfortunately, it's MIA now. I had a lot of where I used to live, I was living in after I got sick, I had to and was separated. I had to move and wound up living in the ghetto area of not so nice city outside of Orlando, and I would say about 2/3 of my music equipment got ripped off. So
That's terrible to hear.
I had to start all over again. I got a. They didn't take my keyboard. I still have my keyboard. I have. Well, I can't have drums where I am. I play the drums too. Um, but I'd have to get some sonic drums because I'm in a senior uh
Living facility.
yeah.
Yeah. My sister has a pair of those, or a set of sonic drums, I guess. They don't make any noise. She just bangs on them. Um,
Yeah,
do you
I was self-taught on the guitar because I had taken violin lessons when I was 6, and I was gonna go to Juilliard. Professor Costanza was my I was supposed to be like in a group violin class in New York, but he saw like talent in me on the violin. I was playing Malinguena when I was 8 years old, and I won awards playing the violin, and I was self-taught on the guitar. I got my first guitar when I was 5, and I had a organ when I was 5 years old. Self-taught on that, and now I just have a bass and a 6-string acoustic and a 6-string electric guitar and a small crate amp with a headset so I don't bother the neighbors.
I I played guitar. I'm self-taught on it. Um, I have an acoustic and an electric and a small amp as well. I haven't really tried. In fact, the electric is in pieces right now because it won't play through the amp. So I got to figure that out. Who inspired you? Because the thing with me is I had a friend that played guitar, and I was like, dude, how did you learn that? And he was like, I taught myself. And then, at that time they had a tablature, so
Okay,
it
stop
was,
right there. Tablature
yeah, learn by
does
numbers.
not work for me. And I used to teach guitar. And whenever my students would come in, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jay, but whenever I see tablature, I want to scream because it's like that's cheating. That's not reading real music.
You're fine interrupting me. Here's my take on tablature. Okay, my take on tablature is because I tried. I went out and I got a book on how to read music, and I tried to learn the notes. Because I actually tried to learn piano when I was like, I don't know, 10 or something like that. And I understood piano notes. I did not understand how it correlated to guitar. So I used tablature to tell me where, you know, to be, like the area, the chord kind of but it's all interpretive to begin with cuz that's how I took it. So if I'm cheating, I'm just interpreting it a different way. Is my defense.
Well, in college, I took music theory. I mean, I majored in music in college as well. That was another one of my majors was music, and it was mandatory. You had to take choir. You had to take class piano too, and I was actually playing Mozart on the piano before I knew it. So I I think it's your upbringing, and because my father was a musician,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
and because I was brought up, I think the environment too, and like and
Yeah, I mean,
and being athletic. When you mean even talk about that either. um, it's funny because my brother was into dolls and stuff, and I was into sports. So every Christmas or birthdays or whatever, we'd switch presents because he'd get the footballs and the baseballs and the baseball bats and the pitchbacks. I don't know if you ever remember those. And I'd be like getting the dolls and the Barbies, and we'd switch gifts. This is one of those type of things.
well, in order going back to the music, I mean, in order to get on stage and have the confidence to rock out and stuff. I mean, I'm saying you gotta kind of be tough, right?
Oh, you
I
gotta
mean
have a
that.
thick skin to do anything. I mean, to do the shows, you have to have a thick skin, because we had our show is done live on the fly. World Talk Rock Report is done on the fly. It's a call-in show, and you can get some, jerk to call in and say, you're fat and ugly, and you know, say some, and I'm being nice when I say they can say some ugly things about you. You know, you
Oh
you
yeah,
have to have really thick skin, and to do it for as long. I mean, going on 2 decades doing that show.
yeah. I had a show idea and it fell through, but part of it was I had pitched the idea that we would get Chad involved And the person I was working with, she was like, no. She was like, I can't, you know, I don't have thick enough skin or whatever. And I'm like, I'm the one with social anxiety and panic attacks. Like, what a wuss. Anyways, I was like, that was just, I was like, you're no fun. Um,
you're no fun. You're out of here.
yeah.
Go crawl under a rock. But no butts and I have a saying and now I can't even think of it what it is. Oh well, you're funny because I suffer from um panic attacks and social anxiety too. Yet I can go in front of 35,000 person venue and you know get like I don't get stage fright, but when it comes to performing in front of my own family, it's like ah, it's just something about performing in front of your own family. Like
Yeah.
when I had to sing over in Italy in front of my uh cousin's wedding. No, first of all, nobody spoke English, so I had to make sure my Italian was on spot. And I sang Ave Maria in Latin. So it was kind of like in the back of my mind, it was like, oh, this better be perfect, or else I won't hear the end of it. You know what I mean? And it was my own family, you know. But I can go in front of like a whole bunch of strangers and it doesn't bother me.
So you were saying you played in front of 35,000 people?
Um, Pretty much, and then on national television. Plus, I did modeling and commercials. I did a commercial for the 1995 Super Bowl.
What? Whose commercial was it? I mean,
It was for the opening of the poker room in
oh, okay.
Tampa, Florida, for the now Hard Rock Casino.
I'm honestly, I mean that right there is just crazy.
That's true. I did it. Now we get stopped on the street. Can I have your autograph? And and then my then now ex-husband was like, "Come on, we don't have time for this." I go, "Come on, it's like they want my autograph." It's like when people don't want your autograph anymore, that's when you have to worry, you know? They're like, "Aren't you the that lady that's on the poker commercial dealing poker?"
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Um,
And I did some print ad commercials, not commercials, but print ad modeling for I forget the name of the studio, but they used that black and white photo that you're showing and another black and white one where I'm holding my guitar.
Well, like I said at the start, I mean, the black and white picture, it's print ad quality, so it makes sense now looking at it. I mean, I didn't think, some average Joe off the block took that picture, but
I can't. It was that was that was some years ago though.
so with your music,
Mhm.
um who owns it? Did you go through a publishing company? Did you have a label?
Oh no. I had my own independent label, and then the first cassette was through Boudoir Studios. The first album that I ever did on the one on cassette where we donated the proceeds to the spring shelter, because that was a group project who I owe my ultimate gratitude to Jan Childers. She was my mentor.
You have anybody else you'd like to give thanks to? Any other mentors you've had along? I'm big into mentoring, so
Well, both of my parents and God, my brother, um, Jimmy Page, Neil Sean, um, I did a little acting too. I was an extra in a couple of movies. One was a complete flop. The other one you might have heard of, Ocean's 11,
definitely heard of Ocean's 11.
and the other one was Coupe de Ville.
I haven't heard of that one.
Well, the scenes that I'm in, if you blink, you miss me anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, when I lived in Las Vegas, one of the guys at my at the gym I worked out at, that's what he did. He would fly to LA just to be in a scene for like 5 seconds. It was crazy. He's like, yeah, they put me in first class and everything just for me to stand around for 7 hours, and you might see me for 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was like 90 seconds of three, like you're there 3 days for 90 seconds of filming. It's crazy, and you don't get paid, but you just get to tell people that you were in a movie, you know.
so you can go. Did you hear about Kat? She's gonna be a movie star. She was a rock star and now she's gonna be a movie star. That's crazy, honestly. I mean, what a life. Um, what do you have planned now for now, future? What?
I'm a professional patient.
Yeah, you told me that, and I'm hoping I don't get there, but I might. But beyond beyond our woes with our health, um, what else do you look forward to? I mean, what keeps you going? I mean, the reason why I do these interviews and I want to get this going is it so I have something to do and to create and put out in the world. So
Well, of course, the Chuck and I, um, right now we're just running reruns of World Talk Rock Report until he settles in his new home because he has everything packed away. So we're just running reruns um, of the show. And like you Googled and listened to some of our shows, we are totally unpolitically correct. So if you don't like the show, just change the channel. You don't have to listen to it because we tell it like it is. I mean, we are not politically correct. There's no politically correctness in our shows. We don't believe in sugarcoating anything.
I mean, as it should be. I mean, I believe in the same thing. Like I said, you can speak your mind here. No worries about that.
And that was the other reason why I agreed to do the show because I mean, this country was built on constitutional freedom of speech, and it's like now everybody's like walking on eggshells, and that's sick. And that was the other reason why I wanted to become a lawyer too, because you can't speak your mind anymore without somebody crushing your brains. At least that's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the fear of cancel culture is way too real, and it's. I mean, I'll speak my mind. I'll say what I want, but in the back of my mind, you do kind of worry about stepping over a line, saying the wrong thing, saying I don't know anything about the wrong tribe, the wrong gender, whatever. That's a whole nother show right there. That's
And Jay, we gotta have you on our show when we get set back up again.
oh, I would love that. I would, yeah, for sure,
Cause
most
you
definitely.
and you and Chuck would have a perfect dialogue. I mean, he worked in Hollywood for like 25 years as a stuntman and security, and his brother Dragon, and that's his real name by the way, Dragon Drone. Um, he does like costuming and build sets in Hollywood, California. I call Hollywood. And so,
Well, I'll tell you, I grew up 3 blocks from Disneyland. We used to walk there as kids and just go. They had like season passes and stuff, so we'd walk there after school and go play at Disneyland. So I'm very familiar with Hollyweird and things being weird and not making sense. And now I'm back 2 hours from LA. In fact, we had moved from Las Vegas. We had moved back to Anaheim to fix up the family house to sell. And while I was there, this was before COVID and before I got sick. I was working out at a gym, pretty consistently, 5, 6 times a week. Anyways, on any given day, one day, this UFC fighter was there. And people were, trying to take selfies with them and stuff like that. And I was like, oh yeah, we live where this can happen. It was just, it's an odd feeling for sure. So I would, yeah, I would love to talk to him as soon as he gets set up, bring him on as well. That would be an amazing interview. I mean, your amazing interview. We barely touched on uh maybe an eighth of your experiences in this world.
Yeah, just like I said, I done so much, and this show itself has been really a wild ride in itself. And Chuck actually, before he was a co-host, he was actually I couldn't find a co-host that I could tolerate me, and Chuck actually was started as a guest on my show, and we just hit it off perfectly. And the owner of the station that I was working for at the time said, "You know what? There's your co-host." And I said, "You know what? You're right." Because we went over, like my show was 2 hours. We went over. We went way over. We went to 4 hours, and they said, "Okay, you got to cut it." Cuz and we were getting calls left and right. The show went like 4 hours or something ridiculously like long like that. It went like double time. And the rest is just history with, so it's been like almost a decade with Chuck. This June will be 10 years as my co-host.
That in itself is amazing to collaborate and creatively work with somebody for that long.
And we're good friends off the air as well. I mean, we
Well, you would have to be, yeah. Again, I'll have the links down in the description, and everyone who's listened and made it this far, please go check them out. They're interesting for sure. Amazing guests. I mean, blow me away. The people you have managed to interview, and yeah. So
well, thank
everybody,
you.
go check it out. Oh, you're welcome for sure. Um, any last parting words?
Um, well, once we get set up, uh, like I said, you can listen to our reruns on Mixler over the weekends on the nostalgic. Um, oh, I forget what it's called now. Just Google it. You can find it. World Talk Rock Report and WTRR live stream on YouTube. Or you can just Google my name, Kat Kat Vecchione Vecchione, and Chuck Skull. He's on IMBD as well because he's been in the movies. Um,
Can you spell his name real quick?
Chuck Chuck Skull Skull.
Oh, okay. I was like, it can't be that simple. So I had to ask for my own stupidity. I had to ask.
No, you're not stupid. Stop it. Um, but normally when we run our live call-in shows, it's usually Sunday 9 o'clock Eastern time, and that would be 6 o'clock Pacific time on Sundays. When we start back up again, once he gets settled in his new home and everything.
Well, I'll keep me posted, and I'll do my best and promote as much as I can, because you two are great together. It's a great show. Um,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
oh, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure having you on at the studio with Jay. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye. Thank you.